is Megan, and I'm an IBCLC with Milk and Honey Lactation and Education. And I don't know if you've noticed or not, but it is definitely cold and flu season. We have had a string of snotty noses and coughing kids going through our house in the last couple of weeks. So I figured it would be a good time to talk about what that looks like for a breastfeeding mom. I've had some questions from people when they've gotten sick and they're breastfeeding, asking if they should keep breastfeeding. And I think that comes out of maybe a bit of worry about getting their baby sick, because nobody wants a sick baby. So here's a couple answers for you. First off, it definitely is recommended to breastfeed when you are sick. So I understand not wanting to get your baby sick, but breastfeeding actually offers them some protection from whatever illness it might be that you have. So when your body is sick and fighting off a virus, it creates antibodies that can help attack that virus. And those antibodies your body makes actually make their way into your breast milk. So when you feed your baby, you're actually giving them some antibodies, some protection to whatever illness it is that you have. These antibodies in your breast milk are the most potent, the freshest that your milk is. So they're not quite as effective if it's frozen milk that's been defrosted, reheated. So really straight from the tap is going to be the most protection that you can offer your baby, however you're feeding them your milk. Some ways you can try and avoid passing on whatever illness you have to your baby is by washing your hands with warm soapy water before you breastfeed, and trying to avoid coughing, sneezing, blowing your nose while you're holding your baby. Some moms will choose to wear a mask while they're breastfeeding. We saw that in particular a lot during COVID. Which that might be easier with a newborn baby if you're sick than it might be with an older baby who might pull at your mask and try and pull it off and therefore touch your face and your mouth more, which might not be helpful in keeping them healthy and away from your bodily fluids. So choose what works best for you. Another good thing to think about is medications when it comes to cold and flu. When you're breastfeeding, it's really best to try and take as little medication as possible, as few ingredients as possible, and as low as dose as possible. A lot of over-the-counter cold and flu medicines can end up being compatible with breastfeeding. The one caution I usually give parents is particularly around cold medications that have antihistamines in them. So when they've looked at research, antihistamines aren't proven to decrease milk supply, but there are a lot of anecdotal responses from mothers that have noticed a decrease in their milk supply after taking an antihistamine. So it doesn't mean that you cannot absolutely take one if you feel like you need it, but it is worth maybe a pause before you decide to take one, knowing that that potential risk is there. One last thing to consider when you are sick and breastfeeding is to remember to take care of yourself. A lot of moms will notice a decrease in milk supply after getting over an illness, and I think a lot of that stems from our bodies putting in that extra work to get ourselves better, and maybe some of that energy getting taken away from milk making. So make sure that you hydrate, rest up, eat as best you can, and take good care of yourself so that you can keep taking care of your baby. That's all my tips that I got for those breastfeeding mamas in this lovely cold and flu season. Godspeed.